located next to Firefly at the Shops at Edgewater. Call 850-249-2726.
I heard the call to serve, so I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community. Because that is the promise I made. That is what it means to be a Marine. Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine.
People all over the country join AmeriCorps Vista to build their community while they build their career.
AmeriCorps Vista provides a huge network with a lot of different opportunities, so you can find the position that works for you. It's a great opportunity to meet friends. It's a great opportunity to learn job skills.
AmeriCorps Vista members address poverty through economic development, education, youth mentorship, and more.
What motivated me to join AmeriCorps Vista was really just wanting to give back to the community which I represent.
We can all kind of work together, work to our strengths, and create this network.
That allows me to be giving back to the community. We are allowing our next generation to be sustained.
Learn how you can build your community and your career at AmeriCorps.gov/Vista. That's AmeriCorps.gov/Vista.
Here in the United States, our freedom and safety are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military, first responders, and their families. The Gary Sinise Foundation shows its gratitude through concerts and festivals at bases around the globe, community outreach programs across the country, and building brand new custom smart homes for our most severely wounded veterans. Find out how you can join the cause. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
A little bittersweet here in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got a full house and more to come, but I'll be leaving here shortly. But it is our last episode, our last show here.
Official. Our last official show here in the Rib Crib Radio Room. Then we'll be moving over to the beach side. I'm sure it'll still be called the Rib Crib Radio Room over there, but it'll have a different touch to it, some windows so that we can always see Miles' pretty face there. I just wanted to be able, I'm leaving the show in good hands today with Amanda, with Drew, with AG and Miles and Caveman Rick, but I was like, I got a call this morning from Randy saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and cancel the afternoon show tomorrow and let's get a jump start on moving this equipment over. And I was like, that's not a bad idea. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, wait, I'll never be able to bring in another segment. So let me at least, AG, do you mind? Let me at least get this last segment.
Yeah, have at it, man.
So great day here. And then also, big game tonight at Tommy Oliver. Navarre Raiders visiting the Mosley Dolphins. It's homecoming for the Dolphins tonight, as I'm sure a lot of people know that it's homecoming for the Mosley Dolphins right now. You saw that incident last night with the bonfire, and just super, super glad that no one was hurt with that last night.
Miraculous.
Definitely was miraculous. When you see pallets flying, you got a good bonfire there. You got a good one. But no, really, though, glad that no one got hurt because that could have been a lot worse than what it was. So big shout out, I guess, to the first responders, even though they were already there on site, right, but to make sure that no one was hurt and no students were hurt, because that was the first thing in my mind was someone's got to be hurt, and let's hope that it's not too serious. And then to hear the reports back that no one was seriously hurt, that is great stuff. We're on the radio at 104.3 here in Panama City, 102.1 in Marianna,
Apalachicola area, or Marietta and Chipley area, and then 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and with our TV partner, Blab TV. If you don't have them through your TV service provider, hop onto your Fire Stick or Roku, go over to your channel search, type in BLAB TV, and you can have another channel to add to your repertoire. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, download the app, and register all at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'll be making my picks before we exit here, but AG, how you feeling about the baseball playoffs and, the Braves sneaking in to win the National League East? As some people would like to say, I say, hey, the Mets had a 3-game chance there. All they needed to do was win one, and they win the division. And it's crazy, too, right? Because if we still had tiebreakers, the Mets and the Braves would be playing a 163rd game.
Which I think every baseball fan wants. Now, every Braves fan wants.
Yes, but baseball
fans do, right? So what's interesting is that the Mets held the division for 175 days this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves have held the lead for 8.
Yep. Maybe 9 as of today. But
Maybe 9 as of today. But going into today, it was 8 days, which is so crazy to think about. And, me being a Central fan and you guys being, an East fan, you all always talked about metting it up. And then what did they do? They met it up. However, you also have to give credit where credit is due.
No doubt.
The Braves got hot at the right time. Their starting pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. The addition of Raisel Iglesias. I mean, you got to give credit to AA again. He's, no pun intended, he's hit some home runs again in the trade market this season. Kenley Jansen looks revitalized. Maybe that injury or it was a heart issue.
Yeah, it was a heart issue.
Maybe that rest gave him some, a little boost going into the postseason here. So we'll see.
Little juice, and he's going to need it because all of the Braves, well, not that he's going to need it, but all of the Braves fans, if you look on the social media circle, if you will, they're all like, well, why aren't we giving the ball to Raisel Iglesias for the last 3 outs? And it's like, well, it's Kenley Jansen, man. You know what I mean? So it is it's perfect timing here for Kenley that he's getting things going and is finding that groove here for the most important time of the year.
If you're not going to use Iglesias in the 8th and you use Jansen in the 9th, say Jansen does get into trouble, he gets 2 on, 1 out, nobody out. You still got Iglesias there that can come in and shut him down. So, there he does have that security blanket, if you will. Snicker does.
I am excited about the playoffs. First game for the Atlanta Braves will be October 11th. We'll have that right here for you on ESPN Northwest Florida. Like I said, Drew Gorman, Adam Goff, Amanda Muller, and Miles Nash Lashley in the Rib Crib Radio Room with us today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. And you've got a big game in London this week, taking on the Packers. Well, never mind. You don't have a big game in London, but you're rooting for a team that's playing for their first time in London. How do you think that's going to go for the Packers playing their first game in London? Will the lights be too big for Aaron Rodgers and the Pack?
I don't think it has anything to do with the lights or anything to do with the hype or anything. There's an obscene amount of Packer fans across the country and other countries. Unfortunately, it's the jet lag. I think Aaron Rodgers, his body is too worn, too weak to make that adjustment so quickly. He's going to be playing a PM game when it's AM hours.
Yeah. That ayahuasca or whatever is going to be flying on that plane. I'm telling you.
This is the first time that 2 teams are over 500 that are playing in London.
Second time.
So when was the first time, though? Because I've been hearing first time all day long.
I heard second time today.
I've been hearing first time all day long because immediately when I heard that I was like, wait, well, what about last week? And I forgot that the Saints have dropped some games that maybe game. Yeah, that was the best game that London has ever seen. Come sit right over here, K-Man Rick. I'm gonna be out of your way here. I'm gonna be out of your way here in just a second.
Your chair was moved to the new studio.
Yeah. Careful with the cameras. All right, so it's going to be a good game, though. I think between the Giants and the Packers for the first 15 minutes, and then I think Aaron Rodgers and the Pack's going to kind of take over from there, unless the rushing attack from the Giants is as serious as what we've seen in some of the prior weeks.
Well, the thing that's interesting is they're saying if Daniel Jones can't go, which it's looking like he's going to, they were possibly going to have Kadarius Toney running the Wildcat.
That'd be great.
All day long.
Right,
that would
right.
Be fantastic.
Which would be absolutely fun to watch. I mean, that's electric right there. I mean, I don't know if the kid can throw it, can spin it, but if
it'd be like Alabama, right? It'd be like Alabama. It'd be like, hey, Kadarius
We're gonna get to
Toney
that.
is better than Daniel Jones, and they just need to run it that way.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
I would love to see it.
I'm not going to be here, though.
Oh. Okay, yeah, Milroe is a better option at quarterback for Alabama than Bryce Young is. I said it on the air.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you saying it. I disagree to the point of, Bryce Young's got the better arm, and he's got mobility as well, but he just doesn't utilize it because he doesn't want to throw, as we talked about before we got on the air. You get into these late game situations when it's, week 10, week 11, week 12, or game 10, 11, and 12. I think that it's going to be of the utmost importance that you've got the seasoned quarterback in there. I think that the options are much more plentiful when it's Jalen Milroe running the offense. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And like you were talking about with the game plan situation, I think it's harder to game plan against Milroe than it is Bryce Young, but still give me the guy who I know what we can do with it compared to the guy that's like, hey, is the arm going to be there? Not just the arm strength, because he's got a cannon, but the accuracy with the arm.
Yeah. No, and what I was saying off the air was, if you're a head coach, whether it's Jimbo Fisher this week or Kirby Smart down the road, are you looking at tape of Milroe and thinking, how are we going to defend this guy? Or are you looking at Bryce Young and going, well, we know how to defend this guy because we know what he's going to do. We know he's fully capable. And it's not a knock on Bryce Young.
Yeah, no,
he's phenomenal. Not. He's going to play on Sundays next year. But looking at that Arkansas game and what Gibbs was able to do coming out of that backfield because Milroe was in the game, it's going to be really, really tough defensively to scheme against that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going to go ahead and get to my picks real quick and kind of get out of you guys' way. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Jonathan Taylor being out against the Broncos this week. But you guys got a great show planned ahead of you today. Miles has put in a lot of work this afternoon to make it all happen. So for the first game, it's going to be TCU at Kansas. Kansas is a 6.5-point dog here. We saw TCU and how RG3 put it last week, running through Oklahoma like a stimulus check. I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs in this situation. I think, it's a great story that's going on with Kansas right now, but at some point, it's going to come to a head, right?
The fairy tale ends.
Yeah, the fairy tale is going to end. At least I think so, but Coach is doing a great job with the Jayhawks over there, but for now I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs and TCU. To the next game, number 8 Tennessee on the road in Death Valley against number 25 LSU. LSU's getting 2.5 points here, and I'm going with LSU because I don't think that the Volunteers defense is going to be able to contain Jaden Daniels there. So I think that it's going to be a very close game. So give me the points. No, it's actually going to be at 11 o'clock.
Oh, man, Death Valley at night is so much better.
If it was Death Valley at night, like Miles said, I'm putting $1 million. I don't got $1 million, but I'm putting $1 million on that game. The Utes heading over to UCLA to take on the Bruins. Bruins getting 4.5 points here. I'm going to go with Cam Rising and the Utes here. Struggled with this pick. Struggled with a few of them on this list here. Then Washington State at the Trojans of USC, who's number 6 in the nation. USC needs to cover 13.5 points. We've seen Wazoo in that defense this year and just being able to stick into games. And so I think if this was a 6.5 point spread, yeah, it's totally different. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Washington State there. Florida State, North Carolina State. Because North Carolina State and the Wolfpack's at the house, I'm going to take North Carolina State to cover 3.5 points. Brigham Young, Notre Dame, BYU is on the road here. Notre Dame's a 3.5-point favorite. Something's telling me.
It's in Vegas?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. It is at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. But still, I'm going to go with BYU in this situation. There's something that's telling me, especially with this game being played in Vegas, though, that point spread's kind of fishy, and there's something that's saying, hey, go with Notre Dame, but I'm just going to tell myself no and go with the Cougars. Texas A&M, Alabama, Max Johnson's hurt. Texas A&M hasn't been able to put up points this year. Alabama has been able to put up points. I'm going to go with Alabama to cover 24.5. Auburn at Georgia. I'm going with Georgia. They got to cover 30.5 points. That's a lot. It's a tall order, no doubt about that. But Auburn, again, they're not at the house. If this was at Jordan-Hare, then I like Auburn to stick within 30.5 points. To the Red River rivalry shootout here, Texas and Oklahoma playing. Oklahoma's a 6.5-point dog. Quinn Ewers is coming back, though, so I'm going to go with the Longhorns of Texas. And the final game here, Houston at Memphis, and I'm going to go with, this is the Miles special, so Miles, specifically and specially for you, I'm going with the Memphis Tigers, who need to cover 3.5 points. What is the headline here on this front page that you guys want to dig into before I get out of here?
Pickett. I want to talk about Pickett.
What you got on it, Miss Amanda?
Don't like it. I don't like it. I'm a Trubisky fan. I think he's a good, solid quarterback. Yes, I know Pickett is great. However, I think they're not letting some of these QB1s play out long enough to see what's actually going on. Like, they have one bad game, one bad quarter.
Yeah.
And they're getting replaced. Like, the stress and the added extra goodness that puts on you, you're going to affect gameplay. Burrow, if they had someone like Pickett behind Burrow, he would have been pulled already. The games he's played, the way he's played, they would have pulled him already if they have coaches like I'm seeing with this. Justin Fields would have been pulled, which, that's different.
Is the guy behind Daniel Jones really that bad?
Tyrod Taylor?
Tyrod Taylor's concussed.
Yeah.
Well, if they were all 100%
Concussion
healthy.
protocol.
Oh, it's Daniel Jones' team.
He's had the longest leash ever of a quarterback coming in.
You got to have a long leash with that organization.
Coaches, I think.
Yeah.
He had 4 head coaches, so
it's almost like the
he's had a longer leash than his coaches. How about that?
It's one of those ones where the team hasn't put a team around you that makes that gives you that idea of, okay, he's just like, we can put the greatest people around him and he's not going to get it done.
Saquon banged up for 2 years.
Saquon banged up. I mean, then you look at in that same division there with Jalen Hurts, and Caveman Rick couldn't tell you all about it, but they put people around Jalen and look what's happened. And then you look at the defense, and yeah, they got some young guys over there as well, but those young guys are sitting behind veterans. And when you look at that Philadelphia Eagles roster, and he's been saying it for a while, it is the best roster on paper. And I know we were all talking about Buffalo, but when you look at the 2s and 3s for Philadelphia, they're really strong over there. We're going to get out of here. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm going to leave it in the hands of Amanda, AG, Drew Gorman, Miles Lashley, Caveman Rick. You guys have a great Thursday, and I'll see you guys later. Make sure you're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida after the Afternoon Underdogs coverage starting at 6:30. The gates open there at Tommy Oliver at 5:45. Navarre at Mosley. It's homecoming. Y'all go pack the stadium out.
.104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. College football lives here. The rivalries, the tradition, and the biggest fans. Listen live in a rich audio experience you can only hear on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Sponsored locally by PCB Coins and Cards, the Patch Boys of Panama City, and Jin Jin Super King Buffet.
My forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny skies in the mid-80s and light variable winds. Water temperature in the Gulf is 81. Air temperature tonight, 60 to 65, mostly clear. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny in the mid to upper 80s, and more the same for Sunday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida are proud members of the Panama City Beach Chamber. We'd like to welcome the newest members to the Beach Chamber.
Castor Solar, Engineering and Equipment Company, EXP Realty, Roxanne Sparicello, Fresh Start Cleaning LLC, MUV by Verano, and Unwind Furniture Company.
Congratulations from the area's only sports radio station, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hometown sports talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can check us out at 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, on 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. We're back in the studio. Okay, man, welcome back, buddy.
Yep, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Just
glad
had to
you
get
could
off
make
work and get here a few minutes late. But hey, they gave Dave an opportunity to do that first segment, so good for him.
Yeah.
Can't wait to check him out later on with the Mosley game. Don't forget, no Kyle tonight. Boston Tim's doing the game with him tonight.
Yeah, Kyle Wright just had the birth
Baby
of their
number
son,
2, right?
Ezra. Yeah, baby number 2. Drew, you're going to head over there after the show today, right?
Yeah, it should be a blast. Well, as long as he clears it with the wife to make sure that she's still good with it.
So if Kyle and his wife have another kid, a third kid, are they going to name that third one better than Ezra?
I don't know. But let's hope people down south are getting better than Fort Myers area, Sanibel. Anybody that was affected by Hurricane Ian. Be sure to check in with meteorologist Tim Root right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And also do not forget that we are doing Hurricane Relief America. We're reminding listeners in the Northwest Florida and South Alabama area to be prepared. We just talked about Hurricane Ian down south. You can drop off a laundry list of supplies that, people are needing. My wife is going down on Tuesday to that area to help out with some stuff. She's got some family in the area as well as some friends. You can drop that off over at the new address, which is
204B Ellen Lane.
Yeah, over in Panama City off Thomas Drive. We're talking bottled water, underwear, socks, batteries, first aid kits, diapers, garbage bags, just anything that you would think about that, you needed during Hurricane Michael. They're needing the same thing. So let's help everybody out, and let's pray for everybody to get their lives back together down there, and also in the Carolinas as well. So
no doubt.
Got some NFL topics here. We talked about Pickett already. We've got Jonathan Taylor out, right? He's playing tonight against the Broncos. It's his first ever missed game going back to high school. Drew, what are we expecting from the Colts tonight?
A lot of Michael Pittman Jr. And just being able to let Matt Ryan loose, per se, and hopefully that ends up well for him, because I know a lot of people like Nyheim Hines being behind him, and he's a very serviceable running back. And to me, he's a very good running back, but he's more of a pass catcher out of the backfield. I don't know how much I trust him between the tackles, so I think it's a lot of Michael Pittman, Mo Alley Cox, and just going from there, relying on that defense.
Jonathan Taylor hasn't done it for me in fantasy. 2 weeks ago, he had 9 touches, and Matt Ryan did not look that good. That's my problem with it. You're letting Matt Ryan throw. He's still not getting it done. If Jonathan Taylor's healthy, you got to give him the touches, and they haven't been. So I don't know what they're going to do tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty stagnant game, I feel, this evening. Not a lot of offense. Javonte Williams on the Broncos side, he's out too, so you're going to probably see a lot more of Melvin Gordon. So both of the offenses, being down their number one running back, that's going to slow things down a lot, for both teams. So I expect a lot of defense in this game, not a lot of points, and probably a lot more, like Drew was saying, chucking the ball a lot around the field.
Amanda?
I just, the Matt Ryan Taylor problem for me, because I agree. I've seen it in fantasy. Taylor's not getting the touches, so him being out really doesn't change too much for Matt Ryan's game. I do think it is going to be low scoring. It's going to be a defensive battle, but I agree it's going to be a Pittman show for sure.
I don't trust Matt Ryan either.
Well, would you rather Matt Ryan in this situation or Russell Wilson? Because he hasn't looked good either.
I'd go Russell Wilson.
That's why I think this game is going to be so interesting.
The Broncos offense has to start clicking at some point this year. They have a new head coach, new quarterback in that system. This could be the game it clicks. It could be a few weeks, or it might never get together. But I think it could be tonight, and they have a big night on offense.
If the Broncos end up losing, I know the rumors have already started spreading, but how big do the rumors happen about Nathaniel Hackett's job?
Well,
You give him the whole year.
Yeah, you give him the whole year. I think he's on the hot seat, though. I mean, we might see a similar situation to what we had in Houston last year with that coach getting 1 year and being done. But for me, this game boils down to, besides Michael Pittman, can Alec Pierce step up? Can, Paris Campbell, Ashton Doolin, or can we get a second wide receiver for Matt Ryan to throw to? I don't think it's all on Matt Ryan's shoulders, the offensive woes. You obviously, like we talked about it before, Taylor's not getting the touches. He's your bell cow. He should be getting 25 touches minimum per game. And if he's getting less than 10, there's a serious play calling issue there. So Frank Reich needs to do some self-reflection and say, what the hell's going on?
Could he have been more hurt before, and maybe that's,
possibly
a precursor, and then he just got the job finished, and that's why he's out now. And maybe that was something, they were actually just kind of load managing him, maybe.
Yeah,
just
possibly.
A thought, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And it could be, it could be like a Cordero Patterson we saw last week. It basically set out the second half.
And Frank Reich's got to go all out this year, because if there's somebody on a hot seat too, it's Frank Reich. So, he's been there, 4 years now? And every year, different quarterback. So if he doesn't get something going here pretty soon, if I was Ursay, I'd get rid of him. If you can't produce after 4 years and 4 different quarterbacks.
All right, let's move on to another team here that's hot offensively, but if they just played bad defense, they would probably be undefeated. But their defense can't even play bad defense. The Detroit Lions. What do we make of this team?
They have all of the pieces to do great things if they can just focus on defense, stay away from Amon-Ra getting injured. That can't happen. But they have so many weapons that I'm hoping they get it together, because as an NFC North person, it's anybody but the Packers. I would love to see the Lions do it. I think they're capable.
They're the highest scoring offense in the league right now. 140 points scored, 141 points given up, and they're 1-3 somehow.
Well, not somehow. I don't want to be a dope here and say this like they're just jinx, but this is the Lions we're talking about.
They do Lions.
It just doesn't matter what's going on with the club, top to bottom. There's always some kind of a problem there. They can't, just get it together. They're going to have to prove it to me or show me something. I got no faith in them. They can put up as many points. They can put up a ton of yards. I don't think they're going to do much of anything. And even if they make the playoffs, where they can be one and done and get bounced in the wild card round or something like that.
Yeah, but making the playoffs is a big step for Dan Campbell. Drew?
I think it's going to make Thanksgiving that much more exciting. having a
good Lions
capable capable Lions team of actually putting up fireworks rather than rolling over to whatever team they play. So I think it just adds to a greater day for Thanksgiving coming up.
Coming up with that too, they should do a game where 1 year where they have the Lions and the Cowboys play each other, since they're always on Thanksgiving, but they never play because they're always hosting games. Make it one time at least where they actually play each other.
But then I only get one football game, and I need two.
Would you have to go to a neutral site, or would you give one a home and home?
Well, if they wanted to alternate,
Yeah.
maybe they wanted to do a couple games and alternate and give them each an opportunity. But if not, maybe do an alternate site or something. But then it'd be a little gimmicky, but it'll help sell stuff.
The Thanksgiving special.
Right.
As long as there's turducken.
So let's move on over here to Miles' new favorite team. It's no longer the Saints since Jameis isn't playing. Can the Jags make a real run in this division?
I think they can. They have everybody there now. They have a competent head coach. They need a little work on the weapons on the outside, but this is a good start for Trevor Lawrence in his career. If he can get something done this year, I guarantee they'll spend a little bit more money this offseason, get some bigger pieces for him to work with, and he's the future. He's going to win the division this year, lose first round of the playoffs.
Lose
first round of the playoffs.
That before. He called that in the preseason.
That's a big start for a quarterback. And I mean, he's looking more and more like Peyton Manning. Terrible first year, coming in second year, doing all right.
Well,
Rick, they played your Eagles last week, and granted they were dealing with remnants of Hurricane Ian,
right,
and all that rain. But what did you see in that game?
Same thing they've been doing all year long. I mean, the first two drives, they actually got out to a lead to us. They scored touchdowns on both drives. We had a slow start. I had faith. I remember you guys in the chat, making some comments, and I told you it's early, relax. And, of course, look what happened. We came back.
Yeah, they were only up 14.
Yeah, it was only 14 points. But, I mean, still plenty of time. And that weather, though, 14 points, if you get behind, that can get kind of ugly, too, But, I mean, they have the weapons. I think Trevor Lawrence is a lot more comfortable than he was last year. He's in a safe spot, if you will. The weapons around him are working. He's got a coach that's got some faith in him that actually is trying to win and not, up to shenanigans every week and doing stupid stuff and not flying back home with the team and whatnot. So, as far as the question goes, can they, make a real run in the division? Well, yeah. I mean, look, we just talked about the Colts being, out Jonathan Taylor. They've been not playing so well. Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill's not the greatest guy out there. We got to see if Derrick Henry can stay healthy. That division is totally winnable. And right now, they're pretty much the best, team on paper. So why not? Yeah. I think they'll win it now.
Amanda?
I like what I see out of Trevor Lawrence this year compared to last year. I agree, like Urban Meyer was playing not to lose. To have a coach now that's playing to win, I like it. Winning the division, yeah, the division is definitely an interesting one. Could it happen? Absolutely. Would I like to see it? Maybe for Miles' sake, I'd like to see you get that one right because that was a pretty early call, but I am not sure.
Blake Bortles did just retire, so that's got to give them some good luck.
Yeah. He's coming back.
Some positive karma there.
He's going to go back as a quarterback's coach for him.
For me, the front seven for the Jags is absolutely impressive. What they were able to do against, I know they gave up a lot of rushing yards, but what they were able to do against Jalen Hurts last week, I know in the rain, but watching that front seven work and put pressure on Jalen Hurts was quite impressive, and they were able to do it the entire game. I think their standing in the division, if you will, boils down to which Tennessee Titans team are we going to get? Are we going to get the one that we got last week, or are we going to get the one that we got in the first 2 weeks of the season? Are they improving? Are they staying the same? What Titans team is showing up? And because I don't think Houston and Davis Mills I don't think they're going to be the player. And for me, if Trevor Lawrence can not turn the ball over, and the Titans continue to, not light the world on fire, yeah, I think they can absolutely win that division. But we're going to take a quick break here. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Bigger and better than ever. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. We just sent Ron to see the Atlanta Braves at beautiful Truist Park.
Thank you so much.
Next, we're sending you to the SEC Championship game.
It's an awesome experience.
Saturday, December 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the ATL. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Dat Cajun Place is the place to watch all college and NFL games. Don't miss a game with their 27 TVs and the NFL Sunday Ticket. It's 75-cent wings and $5 pitchers during live football games. Dat Cajun Place is LSU and Saints football headquarters. Daily specials starting at just $10.99. Happy hour 4 till 7 daily. $1 draft beer and $3 wells. Dat Cajun Place, 2705 Thomas Drive, Panama City Beach.
This hurricane season, be prepared. Protect your family, home, and business. Shop Mid-South Lumber for generators, plywood, sandbags, tarps, zip walls, chainsaws, and get a copy of their disaster supply checklist on their Facebook page. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber, helping protect your family, home, and business in Bay County.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my gosh!
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Bonifay, and Chipley. Now, Amanda, tell us about what's going on at Dave & Buster's.
Absolutely everything. We have a lot going on at Dave & Buster's this next few weeks even. Of course, tonight being Thursday Night Football. If you do not have Amazon Prime, we show the games live and on volume every single Thursday. We've got Pirates Fest coming up this weekend, which is going to be a real good time over in Pier Park. So if you're local and looking for something to do, you can come out there. And we'll be showing all of the college games on Saturday. Of course, we'll have our Alabama game generally or Georgia game on the volume for everybody, all the fans. But if you have a big group of fans and you want to come in and get the volume, show up and we'll absolutely do that for you. We have the finals of our Stein hoisting competition this Sunday. I do still have to bring in some Steins here when it's all said and done.
Nice.
So we can do one for a segment here. And then on Saturday, we are also giving away a pair of FSU tickets against Clemson at home, their next home game, which will be a really, really awesome one. All you have to do is get on our Instagram and like and follow, and then you're entered. It's a good time.
That sounds phenomenal. So are you dressing up like a pirate for
Absolutely.
the Pirates Fest? Fantastic.
Absolutely. We have a float. It's going to be a good time.
All right, so everybody get on out there to Dave & Buster's at Pier Park and check out all the games, both college and NFL, and then check it out tonight as well with the Broncos and the Colts. Have y'all checked out the Thursday night stat broadcast? You know what I'm talking about?
I have. I love
Where they
it.
do the
I
Amazon
haven't seen
stats.
that one yet. I'm going to see that one.
Yeah, so when you go to Amazon Prime and instead of just clicking play, because typically it's right there at the
Right,
top,
it's right on.
you click over to other broadcasts, and then there's a stat cast basically.
Oh, that's cool.
Where they do all the Amazon in-depth statistics and all that stuff.
And you liked it? It was good?
Well,
They
it's,
show the routes
yeah, they have
too
like
that
a
the
tracker.
receivers
It's like a
run
ball
as
tracker in
they're
golf.
going. It's really interesting.
That's really, for the first time this past Monday, my husband and I turned on the Eli and Peyton Monday night football.
Love that.
That was unruly and entertaining at the same time. I was like, why are we watching the Mannings watch football? And I was, oh, there it is. That's why we're watching it.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
don't watch Monday Night Football without the
it
Manning
was
cast.
fantastic.
All right. So let's delve into a little bit of fantasy football here. We had our fantasy football draft for all three of our leagues right there at Dave & Buster's. The top dog, which is the most points in each of the three leagues in the South, we had Sports Team at 168. The Champions League, CCU Know at 163. And in the North, it was second to none at 187.8. The underdog, which was projected to lose, but still won in the South. It was Team 13. They were projected to score 117, but they won they put up 124 in a victory. CCU Know projected 131.8 and was projected to lose, but they ended up winning and scored 163. So that's quite a big jump there. And then in the North, Y'all Are Afraid was projected 116, and they're projected to lose by 7, but they ended up putting up 127 in a victory. The All Bark No Bite, which is the lowest score in the South, it was Boston Tailor Made with a whopping 78.7. In the Champions, it was Dude Looks Like a Brady, which that's a great name.
Right.
I love that. 75.8. And then in the North, it was yours truly, Chase You Down and Burrow You with a whopping 88.68 points. So had a good start with Thursday Night Football with 3 Bengals in there, but nothing really kind of panned out. That's about all I got, really. So it wasn't a very good week, but still 2-2. Drew, let me go over to you on this one. Who are players to keep an eye on this week in fantasy?
As Amanda had said earlier, I think a lot of my fantasy football with my heart and not my head. So I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. I think he says he feels great coming off the rib injury. Sat last week. He's playing against a lackluster, I wouldn't say lackluster, but not a great defense against the run with Seattle. They're ranked 30th. So, and it's looking like there's a possibility of Jameis being out. He didn't practice again today, so that just means...
Neither Jameis nor Michael Thomas.
Yeah, so that means he's going to be the focal point, as he should be, but the focal point with Andy Dalton handing the ball off and getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. So I like Alvin Kamara this week.
And Miles?
I like Romeo Doubs on the Packers. I picked him up last week after he had that monster week before. He got me 23 points, a touchdown. And Rodgers has shown with him he's willing to go back if he drops a ball or two. So Rodgers is getting that trust with his receivers now. Right now I'm looking at Romeo Doubs as his number 2 guy, if not number 1. I still have him on my team. I'm playing him this week. They're playing the Giants. I know it's in London. No one ever scores points there. But I think the Packers are going to have a big week.
Okay, man, what you got?
I would say look out for Jimmy G, man. Garoppolo. The Niners play a lot better. I mean, we only seen Trey Lance like a game and a quarter, basically. I know it's not a lot of a sample size, but 49ers just play better when he's out there. We've seen, how well they did this past week. I think it's only going to get better because obviously he'll have actually a playbook that he can look at. He can actually get reps with his guys because obviously they didn't want to do that in case they did move him during the offseason or during the preseason type time. So I just think as time goes by, he's just only going to get better. So in fantasy, if you got him or don't got him, I mean, yeah, the points have been kind of like a little lackluster last week, but I think he'd probably be due for like about a 25-point week.
Amanda?
I've got 2, and I'm on the fence of who I want to go with. I think Devontae Smith, you're looking at Jalen Hurts and him, the Alabama connection. They had a big game 2 weeks ago. Last week was not that bad. I think he's going to continue to do well, but Olave is my sleeping horse here. Like, I don't think Kamara is going to be as ready as you're hoping over there, but I love what Olave is doing. I think he did well in London, and he's going to continue to prove it, so that's my pick.
For me, it's going to be Jamal Williams.
Okay.
If Jamal Williams is able to duplicate what he did this week, it's really, really going to take some pressure off of Jared Goff and the rest of that offense because it's looking like they're not going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds is banged up with an ankle injury. So, we talked about how prolific that offense actually is. And, if Jamal Williams can continue to run the ball the way he did last week, it should be a really, really good performance for the Detroit Lions this weekend. Which player has underperformed on your team? Amanda, we'll start with you.
Man, I have a few that I want to...
Here, I'll just go real quick, man.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, I got you in 2 leagues. I picked you first overall. You ain't done squat for me. You're out this week. You better get your crap together because I ain't feeling it. I put a lot into you, and I want to expect to win.
I'm on the fence because I've got 2 different leagues going on, but really the biggest hurt for me has been Kyle Pitts. I picked him up early. He was supposed to do great things, and it's just not happening. And it's still not happening to the point where he is riding my bench. I've got Higbee in who's doing phenomenal things, and it's just like, I don't want to drop him just in case, he starts doing well, and I just don't want other people to have the points, but I don't see myself putting him in.
For me, it's got to be Russell Wilson. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I drafted him early, but I was, as the quarterback started to go 4th, 5th, 6th round, I was like, okay, this is a guy that I don't necessarily wanted to target, but he was a guy that I went out and got and thought that with that barrage of weapons that he has in Denver, he would be able to do a little bit more than what he's been able to do. He's picking it up as of late, but hasn't looked like the same Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's cooking Cheerios with hot dogs in it.
Well, there's a propensity for him to kind of stay in the pocket this year when in previous seasons he's I'm out and he's getting those those chunk yards and keeping the sticks moving and this season for whatever reason he doesn't want to do that. I don't know if he's banged up a little bit or he's just getting older and he's like, I'm not doing it anymore. Miles, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't really have much. I'm 3-1. The only guy I have is Jonathan. The only guy I have that's done bad is Jonathan Taylor. But hey, I've still pulled out 3 wins with him on both of my teams.
Nice job.
For me, in our ESPN league where we have three leagues going, it's Jamar Chase. And I don't think it's a lack of targets. It's just simply that offense right now is either a giant chunk play or everything's underneath. So I'm hoping that Taylor gets that offense rolling and gets a little bit kind of way it was last year, a little bit more aggressive with those weapons that he has on the outside. So, and then open up some holes with the run game with Mixon.
And Mixon has come up, and he's been playing a lot better here as of late this year. And then you add in, it seems like all of their chunk plays have gone to Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins. So
Chase is getting a lot of double team though too.
Yeah, and teams are definitely taking him away and making it a concerted effort after he lit up the league last year.
All right. Okay, man, who's overperformed on your team, buddy?
That's easy for me and a couple of mine. Lamar, man. I mean, he's a stud. He's MVP right now. Can't argue that. So, easy to say, Lamar Jackson, man. Tons of points.
For me, it's going to be Miles Sanders. She sat on my bench the last 2 weeks and put up huge numbers. But that's only because I have Jonathan Taylor and Nick Chubb as my starters. But I'm starting Miles Sanders this week, and he's going to overperform again for me.
Okay.
For me, it kind of goes to Olave because I drafted him as a hopeful Saints fan, thinking that he would be able to open up and really be that downfield threat, and just drafted him late as a late flyer, and all of a sudden now he's the number one receiver with injuries, and his abilities really coming to the forefront.
Amanda?
I've actually had two that I picked up late because nobody wanted them, but I have Goddard and I have Mostert that have just been consistently giving me points that I refuse to move them anywhere, but I'm good with it.
For me, it was Cordero Patterson but he was like running back number 2 going into last week, and then of course he goes down for 4 or 5 weeks. But honestly, Olave's a good one. I'm drawing a blank. Just
another rookie that I had that I didn't really see happening was Drake London. He actually did pretty well the first couple of weeks. He's taken a step back, but I mean, you're on the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota's delivering the ball to you. Well, we're going to deliver a break here, and when we come back, we will go over a little bit of trivia, so make sure you stay tuned there, and we'll talk a little bit more NFL football when we get back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your home for the NFL. Listen to the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity. Thursday night football. Double and triple headers on Sundays. And Monday night football. The NFL and ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Dave & Buster's and Instant Replay Sports Cards.
Game days are always better at Dave & Buster's. That's because more TV inches, more food and drinks, more space, and more fun make the game we all know and love more special. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team take the field on the 2 12-foot big screens or 26 75-inch TVs. Throw in the arcade experience and you've got a winning atmosphere that no other sports bar can deliver. Follow the fun at Dave & Buster's, Panama City Beach on Facebook and Instagram. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports at Dave & Buster's.
It's time to let the fall adventures begin in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Now offering 3.49% up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Sorento. You can expand your horizons and write your next chapter with confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Sorento that has the perfect balance of comfort, safety, performance, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and will give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Sorento with $22.36 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 10/31/22.
Tiger TV Pro is a new streaming service that provides you with over 3,000 channels for only $15 a month. You probably spend more than that on lunch these days. Get local channels, entertainment networks, premium movie channels, news and weather channels, and more. Tiger TV Pro even includes all the sports networks, including ACC, SEC, NFL, MLB, and NHL. Sign up's easy. Just go to espnpc.com, scroll down, and click the Tiger logo.
Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 850-215-6290.
When you have completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Check us out 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, Apalachicola, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. And we also have your chance to win a trip of a lifetime. Again, it's the ESPN Northwest Florida Championship giveaway. We're sending you back to the ATL for the SEC Championship. That's Saturday, December 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Teams TBA, but I think we all have a suspicion, right, that it's going to be Georgia, Alabama. The contesting starts October 10th with 2 chances to win daily, so keep listening for more details from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're also the station with the most touchdowns on the Gulf Coast. Make sure you tune in Saturday at 2 p.m., kickoff 2:30, Oklahoma State at, oh, that's last week's. I don't know what games we have this week. Sorry, guys. I know we have Auburn. Right, Auburn at Georgia?
Yeah, always got Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn at Georgia. So we'll stay tuned for that one. And I'll get you that list of games here shortly. But trivia, make sure you call in to 850-215-5006. That's 850-215-5006. Who is the only pitcher to throw a shutout for his 300th win?
I have no clue.
Yeah, let's make Miles do a little work here for your chance to win a Dave & Buster's gift card, that boot store gift certificate, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. As always, you can pick up your prize at the new office at 204 Ellen Lane, Suite B, over off of Thomas Drive. All right. So, guys, on this NFL front, we're talking about fantasy. We're talking about other things. What are some games this weekend that you guys are looking forward to on Sunday?
All of them.
Well, let's be specific.
I like the Eagles Cardinals.
Eagles Cardinals.
Yeah,
Why?
I think that's going to be a high scoring, great game.
It's a game that I think it'll be all right. I don't know. I mean, Kyler Murray. I mean, doesn't the new Call of Duty game come out like pretty soon?
Is it extra?
Well, I heard there's like, I heard somebody talking at work, and forgive me for being like an eavesdropper because I don't have all the facts, but I think he was saying maybe the beta came out, or there's like
the beta came out a few weeks ago. So Kyler Murray, he played the beta that weekend and still won.
Okay.
That's when he came back versus the Raiders.
So he's bucking the trend.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, good for him. For me, it's Sunday Night Football. Bengals at Ravens. Are we going to get the Bengals team from last year against these Ravens, and can Lamar bounce back after 2 fourth quarter, fumbles, if you will? I mean, they had the game won against Miami and let them back in it. They had the game won against Buffalo and let them back in it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see in prime time on Sunday night which Ravens team are we going to get and which Bengals team are we going to get. And I think we should have a shootout. Those games tend to be highly offensive, and particularly with the Ravens secondary, I think you're going to see some fireworks. Miles, we got a caller?
We do. We got Bob on the line.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
Where are we calling from, sir?
Panama City.
All right, here in our very own PC.
Right in the backyard.
All right. So who is the only pitcher to throw a shutout for his 300th win?
Tom Seaver.
It's not the answer that we're looking for, but we do appreciate you tuning in, and we do appreciate the phone call. And make sure
Which game are you looking forward to this weekend, Bob? NFL.
NFL, the Giants.
Yeah, I like that. I think the London game last week was good. I think the Giants-Packers game is going to be great this week. And if you're going to wake up for an 8:30 game, it has to be something electric.
Right on, and like, hey, you guys are playing overseas, so maybe you guys can show out against the Green Bay Packers. You guys have been looking pretty good so far this season.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right. Well, Bob, we do appreciate you. I think we all like that early morning game. The only thing I think we don't like is if anybody gets scratched Like last week with Alvin Kamara, and it's that last minute, and
right
then it was
before.
You have no time to
right,
prepare.
and you're
anything.
still asleep, and you wake
Even
up
when
and
we
you're
got
like,
our-
what
our
in the
pick
world
that
happened?
We're doing on the ESPN app, on the fantasy site. I forgot to pick that early game this past weekend, even though I was up looking at it just because it was early, and I usually do my picks about like 11:30ish, and then there's like 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't pick a team. So like that's not even going to count. So at the end, I could be missing a game, and that could cost me in the end potentially. So we'll see. Hopefully it don't happen though.
Amanda, you had a game this weekend you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to the London game. With my heart, I am looking forward to the Vikings-Bears game as well. It could be a dumpster fire, but I think it might be okay to watch. I think it'll be at least a little bit fun to watch. I need Jefferson to do a little better. I would love to see Amon-Ra play, but we think that's still questionable. So,
Miles, we got another caller?
We got Travis on the line.
Travis, where are we calling from?
Panama City.
All right, another local. We love it. Live and local right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Travis, tell me, who is the only pitcher to throw a shutout for his 300th win?
Bill Necro.
That is 100% correct. We do appreciate you calling. Have you won anything with us before?
I have. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, make sure you don't go to that same place. Make sure you go to the new place over at 204 Ellen Lane Suite B, and you've won yourself a Dave & Buster's gift card, that boot store gift card, or gift certificate, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. What game are you looking forward to this weekend, Travis?
We talking NFL or
NFL.
college? NFL. Well, I'm a huge Saints fan, so I'm going to have to say I'm looking forward to it.
All right, how you feeling about the Red Rifle?
Ugh.
I'm a Bengals fan. Trust me. I know the very, very well. I get it. But tell me what you're looking forward to in that game. What intrigues you about that game?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I love the Saints in any game, but I don't know. I just kind of want to see if Andy Dalton actually does outperform Jameis. I mean, I was never really sold on Jameis very much. I accepted it because everybody was like, "Oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be great." Just like, in all honesty, I'm still not sold on Dennis Allen being the head coach. I see his past in his head coaching career, and plus, I mean, defensive coordinators have a bad tendency to become
head coaches.
No, yeah, they're not very good head coaches most of the time.
Yeah, no, I see that. How are you feeling about Chris Olave though? You got to feel good about that young man.
Oh, I was on it about Chris Olave before the season started. He's in my fantasy team.
There you go. Hopefully he's getting you a W this weekend. Travis, again, we do appreciate you listening and calling in. And make sure you keep your dial tuned in as well after we're done, because Dave and Boston Tim will be calling the Mosley Dolphins as they take on Navarre at Tommy Oliver Stadium. And how much time we got here, Miles?
About a minute.
About a minute here. Drew, besides the Saints, who are you looking forward to?
Monday night with Chiefs Raiders. I think the Raiders were able to get that first win under their belt, and I don't know if they take the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be a great scoring matchup.
Right on. Hey, real quick, too, about this London game this weekend, or doing London games, doing some thinking when I was driving over here. My Philadelphia Eagles haven't played in London yet overseas.
Are they the only team?
Not that I don't want them to, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind us not going over there. But I was thinking, could it be because of Philly and because we kicked their butts in the Revolutionary War and they don't want Philly over there?
Caveman going deep on us here.
So I don't know. Just anybody that has got a maybe a background over there in the UK.
I'll text Roger Goodell and I'll find out.
Contribute or say something, that'd be great. But just something I was thinking about, and I wonder if there's any truth to that.
It's the city of brotherly love.
We're trying to grow the brand overseas. We don't want any problems.
Right. Well, let's end on that note for this first hour. You have been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hurricane Ian is impacting residents here in Florida right now, and we're collecting items people need immediately. Baby food, first aid, batteries, work gloves, over-the-counter medicine, diapers, toiletries, female products, and non-perishable food items like peanut butter that you don't have to cook. Items can be dropped off at our new offices on the beach, 204 Suite B, Ellen Lane. Hurricane Relief America is sponsored by Event Production, Blab TV, and ESPN, Northwest Florida.
My forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny skies in the mid-80s and light variable winds. Water temperature in the Gulf is 81. Air temperature tonight, 60 to 65, mostly clear. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny in the mid to upper 80s, and more the same for Sunday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another college football season. And welcome back to another season of Fansville by Dr. Pepper. That little slice of heaven. Every man, woman, and student section drinks Dr. Pepper like their life depends on it. It does. Where the air is filled with the scent of charcoal grills, and the streets are marked with yard lines. Practical. Where the current trending baby names are Blitz, Spike, and two-point conversion. Adorable. And recruitment starts before you're born. It's a linebacker. Where NFT stands for Not Fun Tailgate, and DIY stands for Dr. Pepper is Yummy. It is. It's the place off-season fever dreams are made of, where the right to life, liberty, and barbecue is written in the town's constitution. Saucy. And the current forecast is sunny, with a 90% chance of the skies opening up and raining down delicious droplets of Dr. Pepper. Grab a bucket. Get ready for anything to happen this college football season on Fansville by Dr. Pepper. The one fans deserve. Grab some today.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. It's our 50th anniversary celebration. You've trusted us for 50 years to bring you the largest selection at the lowest prices. And now we're going to save you even more with our 50th anniversary celebration. We're giving you 50% off silver and estate jewelry, a select group of gold and diamond jewelry, and 60 to 70% off color gemstone jewelry. 50 years of putting a sparkle on Bay County. Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. And you can take that to the bank.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida. From the Florida Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Upper Grand Lagoon to McKenzie Park, we are live and local.
Whether you like it or not, you have a gift.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Also 101.9 in the Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola areas, as well as on 102.1 in Mariana, Bonifay, and Shipley. So we've been running with some NFL news here. I think we're going to stick with that. Miles has brought up this segment here, which I think is pretty interesting because it's kind of weird that there's this many combinations, but which QB wide receiver combo that played together in college and are now together in the NFL is your favorite combo, and which one is the best? Amanda, start us off.
I think if you would have asked me last year, it would have easily been Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I think they might still get it together for the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me right now, Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown, because Hollywood Brown is doing some fun stuff out there, and I think people are sleeping on that pairing right now. There are other ones I could choose, but those two are my favorite.
Favorite's obviously going to be Jalen Hurts with Devonta Smith. They haven't played together, obviously too long of a time, but the time that they have had has been pretty good. So that's my favorite, but the best I would say is probably your pair of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, being that they've got the most accomplished, the most yards, touchdowns, stuff like that, done the best since they've been together in the league.
Drew?
As an LSU fan, my favorite is going to be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase by far.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like Caveman Rick was saying, you look at the stats, by far they have the best stats out there. But I think that...
Well, I mean, statistically speaking, that championship run at LSU broke all the records. So,
but in the as far as best, I'm actually going to go with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams because I know they're still new in what they're doing now in the NFL, but I think they're just starting to rekindle all of that and take it into the next level.
I can't understand that. I've watched Derek Carr the past 2 weeks. It seems like when they're down late in the game and they need a touchdown, he's looking to everybody else but Devontae Adams. It's mind-boggling
I agree.
to me.
Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, do you think everyone's thinking, okay, it's clearly going to Adams? Because I agree. Every time you look at him, he's not targeting Adams, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Isn't this exactly what we signed up for?
I think it shouldn't matter. I mean, look at what Stafford's doing with Cup. Everybody knows the ball's going to Cup, and he still gets the ball.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing, though, is you're seeing a McDaniels-led team that is – he's so focused on trying to run the ball this year with Josh Jacobs that maybe the passing game kind of gets, forgotten about a little bit.
I mean, you pick up Devontae Adams in the offseason.
No, I get it. I get it. But, I mean, in that division – keeping the ball away from Herbert, keeping the ball away from Mahomes, and then, going into the season, we thought trying to keep the ball away from Russell Wilson and all of his weapons. But, I'm sure there was an emphasis on, okay, let's keep our offense on the field so that their offense can't be out there. So I think that's what you're seeing. I think you're going to see a little bit of growth with Derek Carr moving forward in terms of his chemistry with Devontae Adams. Not having Hunter Renfrow out there the last couple weeks has been kind of a
that's been pretty much a safety blanket.
Absolutely.
For Adams.
Absolutely, he's that third down guy. Miles, who you got on this one?
So my favorite's going to be Tua and Jalen. I hope Tua can stay healthy and have a lengthy career because I think these two will be together for a long time if he can do that. Same with Jalen. He's got to stay healthy, but he's one of the fastest guys in the league. Tua's pretty accurate.
I do really like how Waddle's playing this year, and again, like I hope Tua recovers well because it's
Waddle
fun to
too.
watch.
He's got a groin issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waddle might be out this week as well, so we'll just check on that. Make sure you keep an eye on your
Tua,
on your
he's
roster.
Got a concussion, just like McDaniel said, just a concussion. Slow
the obvious one here for me is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but seeing what Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown did at Oklahoma and what they're trying to get done in Arizona. Did y'all see they're wearing the All Blacks this weekend, which look pretty sharp, by the way. I'm not going to lie.
I like a lot of the new uniforms coming out.
Yeah. Nothing matches the Bengals all white.
The white Tigers was great.
Yeah.
I had to post it. I did see a little Power Ranger going on, but I loved the white Tigers.
That was one of the best uniform matchups of all time.
It really was.
But Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown, because the big knock on Hollywood when he was leaving Baltimore was that he always had the big drops, right? And, Lamar would put it on him, and Hollywood would drop it in the big spots. Kyler Murray not having D-Hop there. Rondale Moore has been banged up. He came back last week, but he was limited. So we've yet to see Kyler Murray with his...
What's it, 2 more weeks on Hopkins, right?
Week 7, I think, is when he's back. Yeah, so... but it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic with Hollywood Brown plays out with Kyler Murray when all of those other pieces start to come back into the fold. Because right now it's Hollywood Brown and Greg Dortch. So, we'll see what Kyler Murray has to offer then, and hopefully there's no more add-on games onto Call of Duty.
I want to get y'all's thoughts on the pairing of Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
James Robinson right now is the focal point of that offense. Christian Kirk has been a welcome addition. I thought he was an overpaid addition, but he was a welcomed addition to that offense because they needed somebody that can help stretch the field. Travis Etienne is looking small to me. He's not looking like he's got the power, and maybe he's still recovering from the knee injury, and maybe that's where it's at, right? But to me, he looks and he's playing small.
I haven't been impressed the first few weeks, but I really can tell, Trevor Lawrence feels comfortable with Etienne, and I think it's going to click soon. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's just like Kevin and Rick said, it's just going to take time because what is this, 3-4 games into his NFL career, missing all of last year. So just kind of give him some time and let him develop into what he was projected to be.
And this is basically a rookie season for Trevor Lawrence as well. Last year was a wash. You can call it.
You can't count that.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard too. So.
For me, that season for Trevor Lawrence got wiped away whenever Urban Meyer stands up there and says, well, we don't practice quarterback sneaks. And Trevor Lawrence is like, yeah, we practice quarterback sneaks. And it's like, Okay, obviously these two guys are
There's a
not
communication
on the
issue.
same page here. So I don't know where Urban Meyer's focus is, but it's obviously not on the
Dancing
Jacksonville
with broads
Jaguars.
at his restaurants and not flying
or
back home.
whatever it is. Right, his heart health, right? But so for me, that was when I kind of took a step back on Trevor Lawrence and was like, okay, let's let the cake bake on this kid because he is super talented, and let's see what he can do with a guy that's your former coach in Philadelphia, who won a Super Bowl there. So, maybe they're heading in the right direction.
He gets a lot of the accolades, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Frank Reich, excuse me, was a big part of that.
He's doing stellar, by the way.
Well,
Andy.
I hear you, but I mean, it might have been just both of them complimenting one another. Doug Peterson and Frank Reich working together, both being ex-quarterbacks,
Sure.
and now that they're split up, you're seeing that the kind of woes that they had. I mean, as soon as Reich left, and I mean, we did have injuries on the offensive line, and that also predicated Wentz to get hurt, and that just kind of set the cascading effect of everything else that happened after that. But he does get a lot of those accolades because he done won the Super Bowl. But I will just say it again that don't give him all the credit. There was other people involved too.
All right, Miles. If I gave you an over/under of how many games we have left in the season? 13.
Yeah, we're only 4 weeks in.
Right. So if I gave you an over/under of 8.5 games played for Tua Tagovailoa, are you going over or under?
I'm going under. Me personally, if I was in his shoes right now, I'm stepping away from the game. Sad to say, but I'm retiring. I know he won't. He's a competitor. He's a fighter. I think he's going to play as long as he can. If that O-line can't step it up this year, I mean, he could be in an Andrew Luck situation.
Okay, man, over under. This is granted, you were not counting the 4 games that have already been played.
Right.
But from this point, so out of the rest of the 13
still
games,
go under.
8.5.
I still go under because if he gets hit again and there's any kind of signs of any kind of concussion type stuff going on or anything
brain
like
trauma,
that, they're going to yank him and he's going to be sitting for a while. They're going to be really cautious putting him out there again because of what's transpired. So I mean, you might see him sitting for the next 4 or 5 weeks before he even comes back potentially, or maybe even longer if he continues to have effects afterwards.
Drew?
I think with the way the media is covering it and all the craziness that has happened, it's the only answer you can answer is under. Because with as much crap as the Miami Dolphins have gotten from it, and they're looked upon like they're just negligent by everyone in the media. And it's just you have to answer under here.
Well, look at that franchise from top to bottom too. Nothing but shenanigans the last few years.
Yeah. Amanda?
I agree. It does have to be under, and it is media driven. But even take the media aside, I think any normal person watching those games, watching him take the first hit when they said he was going to play the next week, everyone was going, "Wait, really?" There was the concussion protocol. No, he didn't have a concussion.
It was a
I am not a doctor.
But
but
don't
I
act
knew that he should
surprised,
not have
though.
played.
Like I said, look at the way McDaniels was talking about it.
And see-
it was just a concussion.
This is the reason I posed the
Downplaying
question.
it and everything like that. And they're treating them like on the field like as players and not as patients. If one of us were to walk into a hospital or doctor's office after what had happened to Tua, they'd be like, "Oh my God," and they want to coddle us and make sure we're okay. Football player gets hit like that, and it's just like it rubs some dirt on it. Here's a little bit of some rub or salve or whatever to make you feel better and get back out there, son.
Well, see, and the reason I posed this question is because of what you and I talked about last week, which you just prefaced just now. Because of that organization, I'm going to go over 8.5 games because they obviously do not care. I mean, they put him back on a plane, which you're not supposed to get on a plane after 1 concussion. He's had 2 concussions, allegedly, which I think we all know is accurate.
That's what I'm saying. We're not
I'm just talking in the
physicians,
last
but
2
you can tell
weeks, though. In the last 2 weeks. And then not only is he getting back on a plane, but he's sitting down with the head coach watching a movie. McGruber. And you've got former NFL players out there tweeting saying that I had to sit in a dark room and could not sleep for like a day and a half after I had my concussion.
Yeah.
Because the doctor told me I could not watch anything that was going to make my eyes dart one way or the other. But yet here you've got Tua getting back on a plane, flying from Cincinnati to Miami, and watching something while he's on the plane. We just saw him play 4 days after he got his bell rung, and then he gets his bell rung again. This team, obviously, this organization obviously does not care about this young man's health. They just want to win. And for me, I'm going to go over based on that.
Well, your over makes sense given that they started out 3-0. They're off to a hot start. They want to keep it going.
And they know Tua is the answer for that. But I agree. It's just
you got to keep them healthy. You got to do what's right for the player.
and Tua is a competitor, so he is going to want to play against medical wishes. But again, we don't know what kind of medical advice he's getting through the Dolphins franchise, and it's
going from tanking from Tua to throwing Tua in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically.
The fish tank,
Yeah.
right? Because they are fish. Actually, they're porpoise, but we won't get into that. But but you're listening to ESPN 104.3. And the Atlanta Braves have won the NL East for what, a fifth straight year, Miles?
5 years in a row.
5 years in a row.
ever
and
since
right
the
here,
Truist Park move.
yeah. And then right here on our own very own airwaves, you can check it out. You can also check it out on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. We'll have every single Braves playoff game live on air. Please stay tuned because right coming up next, we have Mr. Tim Braddock with Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle and his very own fishing report.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey everyone, Chef Ross here. Join me for our first annual Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, benefiting Food for Kids, in honor of my dad, Pops Ronald Robinson. Enjoy mouth-watering barbecue, mystery drink specials, and a 50-50 raffle. Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, October 30th, 2 p.m. at the Break Room, 2727 Joan Avenue. For more information, visit the Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue event page on Facebook. Sponsored by Team MVP, the Break Room Sports Bar, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
My forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny skies in the mid-80s and light variable winds. Water temperature in the Gulf is 81. Air temperature tonight, 60 to 65, mostly clear. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny in the mid to upper 80s, and more the same for Sunday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Sick grout? Down and out? Call the Grout Doctor and they'll come up with a prescription that will cure any ailment your grout may have. Just because it's sick looking doesn't mean it needs to be replaced. They can clean it, change the color, or even repair it. You just have to give the Grout Doctor a call at 850-367-4330 to schedule a free checkup. 850-367-4330. Like the Grout Doctor Panama City FL on Facebook to unlock a special gift with your first service. Established in 2017, J. Kelly Designs is happy to announce a new retail location in the Lynn Haven Winn-Dixie Plaza. They specialize in direct-to-garment printed graphic tees, which are made exclusively in-house. For teams, schools, businesses, and special occasions, J. Kelly Designs' bulk ordering option has low minimum requirements, starting at only 6 pieces. They're also accepting embroidery orders. They'd love you to stop by to check them out in person, but if you can't, visit j-kellydesigns.com to shop the collection online.
Oh no, I don't want to call an inexperienced handyman or fix this myself. I really need a professional to repair this wall.
Sounds like a job for the Patch Boys.
Don't worry, we can help with drywall, plaster, and ceiling repair. No matter the size of the dent, ding, or hole, we're a local, veteran-owned and operated business, and we pride ourselves in our honesty, our quality, workmanship, and in respect for you and your home.
Visit the Patch Boys of Panama City on Facebook for more information.
The Patch Boys will patch it up.
The Real Fishing Report. It's expert insider information from Tim at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. What's biting? What bait to use? Where to cast? And now, the Real Fishing Report. On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the Rip Rip Radio Room. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, live and local, the Afternoon Underdogs. You can check us out on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. And now it is time for everybody's favorite segment of the week, the Real Fishing Report with Mr. Tim Braddock. How we doing, Tim?
Mr. Goff, doing well. How about you?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. Welcome in. So
you're the chief underdog today. Is that how this works?
I don't know. It's a team
leader?
effort, man. It's a team effort. We all chip in. Miles Caveman, Drew, Amanda, everybody does what they do.
Well, based on the fishing discussion, you might have a little bit of an underdog.
Yeah.
So we gotta work it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
let's
why we
talk,
got you here.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk some fishing today. Before I get into the actual report, though, we're gonna circle back. Everybody's got to have a favorite snack while they fish. So we're gonna get some contributors in here, figure out what your favorite snack food is while you fish. So Amanda already has her hand up.
Right.
Funyuns.
Funyuns.
Oh, a friend of mine out of Pensacola, that is his absolute favorite. Ben Lyons is Funyuns. Funyuns and Mountain Dew and Pepsi AC.
Yeah.
I like 12-ounce adult beverages.
There you go.
And then probably like some beef jerky or something like that.
That's
Something
a
you
pretty
keep in
good
your
mix.
bag, stay in there for a while. Don't have to worry about it going bad or going stale.
We're excited about having Caveman Rick on this segment today too. It's been
a while.
Couple months
Yeah,
since
man.
you've been in
Good to see
studio.
you again,
So
man.
yeah. And,
Nice looking hat you got there.
Yeah, yours too.
Right on.
And
they're Twinkies.
Yeah, mine's red. His is all gray. I got a little different.
The filling in the middle is just a little different, right? So we get Facebook questions from you. It's just different in studio, and I know with us a lot of times only Instagram Live stuff. Trying to get everybody integrated, sometimes it gets chaotic. But
Hell yeah.
adult beverages and beef jerky, that's probably a staple for a lot of people. And I would have to say, since we're on it, mine's going to be Snickers.
Mm-hmm.
I love a cold Snickers bar when it's June, July, August, and you pull it out of the cooler, and it's just hot. You got to down it quick. And but a Snickers bar. Any idea how many Snickers are made every year?
Got to be like
Billions.
tens of millions or something at least.
Got a guess, Adam?
I'll go with there's 7 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
I'll go with 41 billion.
400 million.
Okay, I was way over.
Yeah, you're way over.
If this is Price is Right. I was not winning.
Yeah, we're not going to have you do any estimating. So, any other favorite snack foods?
For me, growing up, going out fishing with my grandfather, he would pack the truck, and while he was packing the truck, I was putting peanut butter on the saltine crackers and getting those settled, putting them into bags, and pair that with a cold Pepsi because my grandfather Pawpaw loved Coke, but he didn't like the price because Pepsi was cheaper. So it was
interesting.
It was peanut butter cracker with saltine crackers and Pepsi.
So on that peanut butter, was it creamy or crunchy?
Creamy.
Oh, always.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah, I love creamy peanut butter. And so I'm a Pepsi fan too. I'm from North Carolina.
Buffalo Rock, baby.
So yeah, the Pepsi was born in the Carolinas. So Miles, you got a favorite snack food while you fish?
It's plain, but pretzels.
Yeah, that's pretty plain. But we'll go with it. Pretzels and adult beverages,
Soft
right?
pretzels are good.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about the fish. And before the show, we had some pre-show conversation about the cheating that went on. That's been big headline
I've seen it
all over
everywhere.
the country.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's been a big. I was at the cigar shop this past week on the back patio and ended up sitting down randomly talking to some folks. Found out I was in the fishing world. And that was the very first thing they mentioned. Did you hear about the guys in the walleye tournament that cheated? I tell you, the crazy thing is in July, I was at a vendor show, and those same two individuals were brought up at that show. I was at a dinner that evening, and I was at a round table with 8 other individuals, and they were brought up and known to have been, or rumored to have been cheating for a couple of years.
That's what I heard too.
And it was pretty well known in the tournament circuit, if you would. And then lo and behold, they get busted. I mean, social media.
Yeah. You know what? I will give them credit for the fish fillets in between the lead
that was
weights.
so the
they
lead weights
didn't
wouldn't
knock.
clank together.
That's what I was saying. So that they wouldn't knock together. Like, I give them credit on that. That's pretty good ingenuity
That
there.
just shows
But
they've been doing it for a
but
while.
they just got so egregious.
Well, here's the thing.
They got egregious with it when you were throwing 12-ounce lead weights
That
into
was
a
a
fish.
tournament where the fish were dead. Most tournaments are catch and release and they're kept live.
Mhm.
So that's another should have been a red flag because if the fish can be dead, they were saying that these guys were turning in fish sometimes that might have been dead for several days.
Yeah.
Because they weren't sending them off to get donated to a place
The
to get
soup
cleaned,
kitchens and stuff.
and then go to the soup kitchen because they're not going to give bad fish out. So that should have been an indication. But again, I just don't get why they're having these dead tournaments because that's one way. I mean, if the fish is alive and kicking, it's going to be a lot harder if they got weights in there.
Well, I think if they're doing it for a charitable organization, it makes sense.
Right.
But I get what
if
you're
they're
saying
cheating
too.
for a charitable
No.
organization.
I'm saying that the people that are putting the tournament on, if if they're going to say, hey, all this fish is going to be donated at the end, to a worthy cause, then let's go because
But apparently
at least the
it's
fish isn't dying in vain.
Right.
Correct. Well, and ultimately these guys had it coming. And kudos to those who put on the tournament for kind of calling them out. And,
Apparently, in the United
it's
States,
going to turn into a legal
cheating
issue.
in fishing is a bigger deal than cheating in football. If Tom Brady was in fishing, man, we might not even be knowing him anymore. He might be out of the league.
Yeah, he would be
Kinda
out of
funny
the
how it
league.
works,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Deflate gate.
Flat ball.
Flat ball. Weighted fish and flat balls.
There you
go. We can start a whole segment on that, right?
All right.
Let's talk on the actual fishing report for today. As you can tell, I came in straight from the field. I was supposed to go offshore and spent a couple hours from about 1 to 3 actually on the beach. And I set up in an area I've never fished before on the west end and ended up with 6 ladyfish and a hardtail. So we call that a trash can day.
Yeah.
And that's, most of those are trash can fish from the surf. But still a great time. Ended up talking to a lot of people. The Pompano report, though, from really from Port St. Joe all the way over to Navarre. And I've had at least 8 conversations this past week with individuals that have caught a regular Pompano. These are guys that take people out as guides, local guide services that are doing really well on Pompano in specific spots. So I know Amanda's 2 sons, we talked about that last week, caught a couple Pompano. So the surf has been great. Over this coming weekend, the weather is supposed to deteriorate. And there's a cold front moving through on Saturday. So if it were me and I wanted to surf fish this weekend, I'd put in a concerted effort to go tomorrow evening before sunset. There's a couple things that are good there. Low tide will happen. So there'll be a normal pull. Also a bite. The regular sunset bite will be there.
Usually the bite picks up before front moves through.
Correct. And also they'll be feeding before. We like to usually look at 0.3 of a point on the barometric pressure change. Again, those are all factors that we take into consideration, right? So then you look for multiple factors and say, if I got 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, it's probably a good time to go. So fishing tomorrow, in particular, anywhere should be great for us. Bull reds have been caught regularly. We talk about this every fall in the fishing world. They start schooling together, and you start seeing schools of 100 or more. In some cases, upwards of 200 fish. Looks like boiling water popping the top of the water.
It's impressive.
It's something cool to see, and then also you go out and you catch your one and you're done.
Yeah.
And so,
how do you feel about that? By the way, the one rule.
I personally like it. I think there's
You have to. There's too many dopes out there keeping too many fish that they shouldn't keep.
Yeah. And here's the deal. Those dopes are going to continue to do it.
That's it.
Until
they get caught, maybe.
Yeah, that's the reality. But I think 1 is a responsible number. I tend to be very conservative in some of those. What should we keep? What shouldn't we keep? What should the limits be? Obviously, I think sometimes maybe there's a little bit of overreach, and there's even more
Like with
behind the
flounder
scenes.
last year when they changed the flounder.
Yeah. And again, I got in that conversation this morning. As a matter of fact, October 15th, flounder goes out. I think it's personally a good idea. I mean, it's, you initially hear it, everybody's like, but And I love to flounder fish that time of year too, but they're so stacked up together. It's Jubilee time, it's time to make more flounder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think regulating them out in that time frame will be profitable to the fishing in the long run. And in the short term, it does kind of suck because it's a change for everybody. We've never had it, but flounder fishing would be my take this week, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So if I had a pick, and we do the pick'ems usually before this segment, but my pick in fishing this weekend would be to go flounder fishing.
And
again.
just do a rundown for those that maybe don't know. What are we looking for as far as tackle for flounder fishing?
So it depends on where you're fishing.
Let's say from the
right?
beach.
From the
Or
beach,
pier.
from the beach or the pier. If you do it from the beach, you can actually gig. So you can get you an underwater LED light. You can get them on a PVC tube. They usually have a battery pack that you can connect into them, and shines the light under the water. And you go out. I like a 4-prong gig. There's a local gig company called Cosin Gigs that we like to use. There's also another B&M is a very well-known gig manufacturer, makes the heads. And so flounder gigging is a lot of fun, and you have good results. You can see the flounder. You can see their size and pretty good numbers. When you're fishing from surf or you're fishing from the pier, from the pier particularly, there's two primary ways. Bull minnow is going to be the preferred method, live bull minnow. Although Caveman Rick may not want to use the live bait, he likes those artificials. What he's saying.
I do.
And but a live bull minnow is hands down, the best bait to use for flounder. Period. We simply rig those on a small Carolina rig, keep them weighted down. There's an alternate way to rig those. You can use them with like a 1/4 ounce worm weight and create a knocker rig out of it. And I tend to like that. It keeps them from burrowing as much in the mud. Same thing with those mud minnows. Flounder bites are a lot different. I was talking to a customer this past week about that. And obviously they're on the floor in the Gulf or in the bay, wherever they're at. But when they come up and they grab it, it's almost like a jigging on a hook set. A lot of times people end up missing the bite on a flounder. They start reeling rather than picking up.
On that, I was going to say, would you recommend people using circle hooks? That way, all you got to do is really reel down a lot of times.
Yeah.
You don't really have to set that hook because the hook set does it on its own.
So even with a circle hook, you still have to kind of pick up. Imagine it having it at your waist level and then just kind of picking up to your shoulder, and it's almost a simultaneous reel at the same time. If you don't, they'll let go. That's the thing. And that circle hook's not going to set at that point. I'm on the Bassmaster Classic and I've got a J hook on, and I'm going to
ripping some lips.
Rip the lip as hard as I can here, which real quick sidebar, huge shout out to one of our employees, Ryder. Ryder's 15 years old and he got paired with a pro out of Pensacola. And he's going to fish his first bass event this coming weekend.
Let's go, Ryder.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff.
Yeah, he looked.
Hopefully there's no weighted fish there.
Yeah, no weighted fish, and hopefully he has always wanted to be in the fishing world. He does great at like the social media aspect of stuff, and it was just a awesome opportunity for him to be able to get paired with this pro out of Pensacola.
Well, that's awesome.
And so. He's actually going to be on the show in 2 weeks, and we're having to talk a little bit about it. But that's a really cool event, and big shout out to the guys at Three Rivers up in Baker, Florida, and the regional VP for bass owns that shop, and he helped Ryder get hooked in and connected to the right people, and so it turned out to be a really great deal for everybody involved.
That's awesome. Hopefully he's wearing a Babe Reese bait and tackle hat when he's in that
Speaking
tournament.
of,
guaranteed he will be.
There you go.
Bass, you being down on the west end of the beach when I worked at that Winn-Dixie down there back in the late 90s, Bob Cobb from the Bassmasters actually came in. I was working in the produce department. I actually recognized the guy, went up to him, talked to him for a few moments, and then I don't feel so proud of this, but I ran over to the magazine stand and yanked a copy of Bassmasters and got him to sign it for me. And took it home with me. I didn't pay for it, though.
Uh-oh. What's the statute of limitations on that?
Oh, it's been years.
Yeah.
I'm good. This was like 99, 98, something like that. I'm fine.
You ran out of the statute of limitations.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what I can talk about. No big deal.
We're out of time for this segment, Tim. As always, we do appreciate it. The Real Fishing Report. Make sure you guys go down. What's that address there on Back Beach?
21301 Panama City Beach Parkway.
There you go. Babe Reese Bait and Tackle. Go check it out. I've been in there a number of times. Always super nice people.
Tight lines this weekend, guys.
The best baits, live and frozen, as well as some fantastic tackle. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back, and we'll go over our college football picks for the week.
Bigger and better than ever. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. We just sent Ron to see the Atlanta Braves at beautiful Truist Park.
Thank you so much.
Next, we're sending you to the SEC Championship game.
It's an awesome experience.
Saturday, December 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the ATL. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
My forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny skies in the mid-80s and light variable winds. Water temperature in the Gulf is 81. Air temperature tonight, 60 to 65, mostly clear. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny in the mid to upper 80s and more the same for Sunday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Boy Scouts learn it to earn their Eagle badges. And if you know it, you may save a few Eagles of your own on dollar bills. Be prepared. When I come back, I'll tell you.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Being prepared helps save 2 rare species, money and life. Every year, 1 in 11 Americans is involved in an accident. So listen up. Carry a jack, spare tire, jumper cables, and learn how to use them. Know what's in your insurance policy and who to call. Keep a card listing medical conditions and allergies. Invest in a cell phone. 911 services could be the stitch in time that saves 9 lives, that is. Go ahead, make your Scoutmaster proud. Earn your merit badge as a highway hero. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're listening live and local to ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. ESPN 104.3 is also your home for the Auburn Tigers. Please make sure you check it out tomorrow as they head up to Athens, I believe, and take on the Georgia Bulldogs, where they are a 30.5-point underdog.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
So Brian Harson's got some work to do, and I think that's one of our games we have this week to pick.
Number
is it
8.
Not?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, number 8 on the list. So Let's get into some college football pick'ems. I think we're probably going to use both of these segments here since there's 5 of us here today. We've got Amanda leading the way, and I believe Drew is bringing up the rear.
No, there's someone behind me, but that's only because they haven't really picked.
No, I'm talking about people that they've picked every week.
Oh yes, I'm definitely in the rear.
Don't be afraid. I'm just one game ahead of you.
I'll hold it over there. I'll hold the rear. That's why they put baby in the corner over here.
So why don't we go around the room this way? We'll start off with Caveman and kind of work our way around. So we'll do number 1. The first game is number 17 TCU is at number 19 Kansas. This is the college game day game. Kansas is getting 6.5 points. Caveman?
Yeah, I don't care that Kansas is getting 6.5 points. I think TCU takes them out and beats them.
So you were more impressed with the Oklahoma drubbing than you were Kansas the whole season?
Pretty much. I just last week was pretty nuts. I mean, I didn't think that was going to happen. So I'm just going to ride TCU right now.
There you go. Miles?
I'm going with Kansas. I'm riding the fairy tale till it falls off the tracks.
Okay.
I'm going to also go with TCU. I don't care what's. It's a great thing that's going on in Kansas, but TCU's quarterback Duggan has yet to throw an interception on the year.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, it's the Big 12, which they don't really play defense.
That means
in the Big
he's due
12.
for one as well.
Yeah, there you go. I like that mentality.
You had to say it.
I just jinxed them, so it's there. I said it already.
I'm going with Kansas in this one. They're riding high. They're going to have game day there. It's going to be pumped up. Give me rock chalk all day long in this one.
I think I was the only one in studio last week that took TCU, so I am staying with TCU. I don't think it's a fairy tale like Cinderella's story. They've got a good team going on, and I like it.
All right, the next game is number 8 Tennessee at number 25 LSU. I know Dave picked this one earlier, and I believe he went with LSU. LSU is getting 2.5 points at home. Caveman.
Yeah, kind of crazy. 2.5 points at home, and when you look at the way both of these teams are ranked right now, Tennessee's just got it going on, I think, too much. And, first year for Brian Kelly, I don't think he's got it all together yet, so I'll take Tennessee.
I'm going to go with LSU. I think the heat down in the swamp is going to be too much for Tennessee. The rowdiness, over 100,000 people there. They're going to be drinking about 5 a.m. come Saturday, so I don't think they're going to be able to handle Death Valley. I'm going LSU.
I think LSU covers here. I'm going to take LSU. I might even take them outright just with being at Death Valley. And like David said earlier in the show, I don't know how much Tennessee's defense is going to be able to stop Jaden Daniels in the LSU offense. And LSU's defense, other than looking kind of lackluster during the FSU game, we've really turned it on here in previous weeks.
They shut down the air raid pretty much versus Mississippi State. If they can do that, they should be able to shut down Hendon Hooker's passing.
Exactly.
This is, for me, it's kind of like this is the first big test, really, for Brian Kelly down at LSU. It's a home game, Tennessee, top 10 team coming into Death Valley. This is the game that he says, okay, yeah, this is our jumping off point. I think LSU, I think you're right. I'm not just taking LSU. I'm taking LSU to win this game.
Yeah, you guys are wrong. It's fine, though. If it was a night game like we talked about earlier, I think it would be different. I am taking Tennessee in this game. I mean, Caveman is right behind me, I believe. Pretty close with the picks. So if you guys
I had one bad week a couple weeks ago. I went 1-9.
You did, but I mean, other than that, it was a fluke week. You guys can listen to us. It'll be okay. But Tennessee. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So Tennessee covering the 2.5. The next game is a little Pac-12 action going on. We have number 11 Utah at number 18 UCLA, and they're getting 4.5 points at home.
All right, so starting out with this one, I hate to do it again. I don't want to pick the road team again, but I think I'm going to do it. I mean, Utah's been playing pretty good this year. They looked bad a little bit against Florida earlier, but and UCLA hasn't been that bad either. They've been playing pretty great football as well lately, but I just like Utah on this one.
I'm going Utah as well. Utah has a very old roster. They're all veterans. Going Utah.
I'm going to go with UCLA. I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson has that train rolling at the Rose Bowl. So I think they're going to...
With their 5,000 fans?
Hey, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is got that train rolling. So I think they just keep on rolling because I think they're 4-0 at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with UCLA here, coming off a pretty big win for them last week. Utah, I feel like their road woes that we saw them have in Florida and in Gainesville. I think we're probably going to see another repeat of that. So give me UCLA to win this game outright.
I really enjoy the Utah-Florida game. I mean, that was closer than I liked for anyone. But I am taking Utah in this game. I'm also going with the road team again. I think they're just the better team in this. And, you're giving up 4.5. It's just not a big enough spread for me to change that.
All right. The next game we have on the docket is Washington State at number 6 USC. USC is favored by 13.5 points. K-Man.
Yeah, UCLA. I mean, USC's been playing pretty great football. Caleb Williams was looking pretty good. We've seen, the transformation of that team ever since, Lincoln Riley came over there and just basically just flipped the roster entirely over. But Washington State's been playing pretty well. I think 13.5 is a lot of points, so I'm going to take Washington State here.
Look at all these road takers right here. Miles, you got a road taker?
Vegas is asking you to take Washington State here. USC their offense hasn't looked electric the past few weeks, but they've won, right? They're still undefeated. Washington State's been some close ones. I'm going with USC all day.
I'm going to go with USC at home. I'm not buying into the road dogs here. So give me USC. Like Caveman Rick was saying, Caleb Williams has looked really well, and the old Lincoln Riley's been able to get them back on the track. And I don't know if they're a national power just yet, but they're definitely a Pac-12 power.
Well, I mean, they are number 6 in the nation, so there is some kind of power there. And I think that power stems from Caleb Williams. I mean, this is a kid that we all kind of balked at when he came into the lineup at Oklahoma last year, and everybody kind of went, okay, well, he's going to USC, but he's still a major question mark. He's answering some questions right now. He's 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's doing his part. The USC offense has looked really, really good in spurts. Considering this is a home game, Washington State's defense has been looking good here lately, but give me USC at home to cover.
I mean, I think Caveman and I are just to quote or go old school WWE, the Road Warriors. I am taking Wazoo. They played well against Wisconsin. It was hard for me to watch, but I got to watch that game, and the way they played, 13.5, it's too many points. Wazoo all day.
All right, next game on the docket, we have number 16, the Cougars of BYU. It's Miles' team.
Whoa, you're forgetting the game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 5, man.
I'm sorry. My apology, all the Seminole fans. I skipped one over here. We have FSU at number 14, NC State. NC State is favored by 3.5.
This is going to be my first home team. I think NC State will take this game. I think they'll win by more than 3.5. FSU has been playing pretty good. Actually, been overachieving a lot more than I think a lot of people were going to think. I think this is where FSU maybe starts to come back to earth.
I'm going NC State as well. They play really good at home, not as good on the road. You saw them versus Clemson last week. NC State.
I'm going to go with FSU. I think they are able to cover. And as an LSU fan, that loss at the beginning of the season, I need FSU to just keep winning so it looks better and better.
There's a huge dichotomy with this NC State team, or like the real Jekyll and Hyde between road and home splits. And it's been like that for a while under Dave Doran. And what they're able to do in Raleigh has been absolutely overshadowed by their road woes. If this game were at Doak, I'd probably be taking FSU here, but I think NC State has enough to cover 3.5.
This one was a tough one for me. I did not want to continue to take all the road teams, but I am going to take FSU in this game. I think that after the last game, they definitely got something to prove, and they're going to do it with NC State.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll round out the last 5 college football games on our picks, and riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. College football lives here. The rivalries, the tradition, and the biggest fans. Listen live in a rich audio experience you can only hear on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Sponsored locally by PCB Coins and Cards, the Patch Boys of Panama City, and Jin Jin Super King Buffet.
That boot store reminds you football weather means colder weather can't be far off. Now's a great time to shop for those winter work coats, shirts, and shoes. Janice and Irene, along with the staff, welcome you to stop by and shop for the whole family at that boot store. Remember Joe's motto, always put Jesus first in your life. Open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 on Friday and Saturday. That boot store. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street, Panama City.
Let's face it, nobody wants to deal with the hassle of replacing or repairing a roof. At Extreme Roofing and Construction, they help you avoid the headache so you can enjoy your roof stress-free. Extreme Roofing and Construction works with your HOA for approvals, permits, and even helps with insurance to get your roof repaired within 2 weeks. For over 20 years, Extreme Roofing and Construction has helped residential and commercial clients resolve their roofing needs quickly and efficiently. For more info or to book an appointment, visit ExtremeRoofingPros.com. License number CGC 1511861-CCC1329126.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullet, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
What's up, everybody? David Pollock here with Bar Burritos. Did you know that Bar Burritos has 35 farm fresh ingredients? That means you have over 3,000 entree combinations that you can put on your plate. Luckily, Bar Burritos put together their 9 under 500 calorie menu, which features 9 different entrees that you can feel great about eating. Try the ground turkey salad with double protein, the mini chicken burrito, or my personal favorite Friday meal, fish tacos with guacamole. It's a winning play with Bar Burritos.
In your face.
Questionable calls all over the NFL this year.
On the field.
To quantify, to put a value on momentum, you can't do that.
And in your radio.
Hashtag NFL rigged.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room here on ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Bonifay, and Chipley. Make sure you stay tuned after the Afternoon Underdogs as David Hayes and Boston Tim will be bringing you all the Mosley Dolphin football action over there at Tommy Oliver as they take on Navarre. So we got just a few minutes left here, so let's round out these last 5 games. We've got number 16 BYU, which is Miles Cougars at Notre. Actually, it's not at Notre Dame. It's in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium.
Neutral site.
And Notre Dame is favored by 3.5. K-Man?
Yeah, neutral site, 3.5 points Notre Dame's getting. I don't think they're going to cut it. I don't have to root for you guys anymore since Grandma and Grandpa got rid of you guys. So bye-bye Notre Dame. Hello BYU.
Yeah, I'm still riding with BYU. Even though they've lost me a few, I'm going BYU.
I think after going 0-2, Notre Dame is finally putting it together in the Marcus Freeman era. So give me Notre Dame to be able to cover.
I don't know how Mormons do in Vegas with all the gambling and everything, but I'm still going to take BYU.
I am also taking BYU. They did cause me a few losses, but they've been good.
Lots of temptation in Vegas.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
3.5
That's what I'm
points isn't
saying.
enough, yeah.
All right, next game on the
Catholics.
Mormons versus Catholics, absolutely. The next game is Texas A&M at number 1 Alabama. Alabama is favored by 24.5.
This game was supposed to be the game of the century after what had transpired this past summer with Jimbo.
The recruiting battle.
You know, and now look at the joke of a game we're getting. 24 points and a half is a lot of points to cover, but I still think Alabama does it, and it's just going to be great when Jimbo starts getting drubbed in this game. His top is just going to blow. This guy's just going to lose his mind.
Yeah, so I'm taking Texas A&M. Bama's most likely going to start their backup, Jalen Milroe. It's going to be a running game. We're going to run the ball down Jimbo's throat and send him back to A&M with a cough. I'm going A&M, but it's going to be a close game.
If you look at Nick Saban's track record, the year after he loses to a team, he comes back and wants to make an exclamation point out of that game. So give me Alabama. They are most definitely going to cover the 24.5.
If Bryce Young were playing in this game on Saturday, I would say Texas A&M is going to cover, but because Milroe is starting, Give me Alabama to cover the 24.5.
I just think they're going to run the ball so much, the game's going to go by so quick, they're not going to have enough time to cover.
Right, but I think you're going to see a lot of 75-yard touchdowns is what I'm counting on.
Usually these giant spreads, like 24.5 points, burn me, so I'm actually going to take Alabama this week with the 24.5 because I agree. I just don't see Texas A&M getting within that 24 points.
Yep. Next game is Auburn, which you can listen to right here on ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida, as they're going into Athens to take on number 2 Georgia. Georgia is favored by 30.5 points.
Yeah, this is a ton of points, man. 30.5. But like Georgia last week, man, they just didn't have that great of a showing. So I think Kirby Smart's going to light a fire under these guys and make sure they go out here playing like their hair's on fire to make a statement. So I'm taking Georgia and covering.
Yeah, I'm going Georgia as well. It's at home. Auburn's terrible. They just lost their best defensive lineman as well. That does not help. I'm going Georgia all the way. Bounce back week.
At 30.5 is just too much for me to pass up. I'm going to take Auburn here. Georgia hasn't looked like the Georgia of old in the past 2 weeks with Kent State and Mizzou. So I'm going to take Auburn with points.
30.5 is a lot of points. I think the mailman delivers a win here, Stetson Bennett, but I don't believe he's going to deliver a win that's going to be 30.5 points. I said on the air before the season started that Georgia was going to struggle in Missouri, but for some reason, Missouri has people's number when they play there in Springfield. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the water. I don't know, but they were fortunate. They were very fortunate to pull out a W there. But I think Auburn covers 30.5.
I think Georgia has had some interesting things. The past 2 games, Kent State and Mizzou put up 22 points on them. That's just too many points. Auburn is going to absolutely lose the game, but not by 30.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Next game is the Red River Rivalry. Texas at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is getting 6.5 points here.
This is going to be a tough one. Both teams have been kind of up and down all year, so it's really kind of tough for me to pick which one. But I think I'll just take Texas on the road here.
I'm going Texas as well. They're starting quarterback coming back.
They still play this in the Cotton Bowl?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's 50-50 split fans down the middle.
Yeah,
It's awesome on TV. Yeah. Always take the over in this game, of course. But Texas.
I'm going to take Oklahoma. They've had a rough couple of weeks, but there's just something about the Red River rivalry that gets the juices flowing a little bit more, and Oklahoma wants to take care of little brother.
Yeah, last year's game was awesome. I think Oklahoma scored a game-winning touchdown on like a 25-yard run with about 30 seconds to go, maybe less. But seeing this Oklahoma Brent Venables defense as being non-existent the last 2 weeks, give me Texas all day in this one.
Absolutely. Hook 'em horns. This is an easy one. Texas is taking this game.
All right, the last game on the docket is the Miles Special. The Houston Cougars at the Memphis Tigers. Memphis is favored by 3.5.
Yeah, Houston's been a kind of, I don't want to say a bit of an enigma. I mean, they've had some really good games. They've had some bad showings this year. Apparently, Miles likes them. He likes to pick them a lot for these Miles Special games. So why not? I'm going with Houston.
They're Cougars. He loves them.
It's just how the cookie crumbles. But, yeah, I'm going Houston as well this week. I think they got to get back on track. They've had some problems the past few weeks. I'm riding with Houston.
I'm going to go with Memphis. They're 4-1 on 3-1 on the year. Their 1 losses to Miss State in their very first game. They've been able to put up big wins here in recent weeks, and they're at home.
I've been burned by Houston the last couple weeks. I'm not trying to get burned again this week, so give me Memphis on that 3.5.
I'm going to take Houston in this one. 3.5 isn't enough for me to sway my vote.
All right. So, Miss Amanda, I don't know if we've talked about this. Wisconsin loses their head coach.
Yes, they did.
How are we feeling?
I really am 50-50 about it. I think it's a good move. Do I think we're going to get somebody that replaces him and does a better job? Absolutely not.
Then you can't get rid of him.
What's his record, Miles?
77-26, and he has to go up versus Ohio State and Michigan, some powerhouses in the country every year.
Absolutely. And like I said, there's nothing I can do to change the call, so I'm gonna have the back of my Badgers and hope that we're making the right call. But at the end of the day, our quarterback situation is just abysmal. Like Mertz is not doing it, and things have got to change.
The best that can come from this is y'all get Urban Meyer.
I was going to say, you guys are going to try to woo Urban
I think they're
Meyer.
going to compete with Nebraska on that one.
I think that would be the best move. He knows the conference. He knows the weather. And the weather is a big factor for the Big Ten and those stadiums. I would not hate if we picked up Urban Meyer.
Do you think Urban Meyer will jump around?
We'll teach him.
We'll see. But Hugh
Would he
Freeze would be
jump
fun
around?
to see go there too, but he won't.
If
But
he's down by
that would be
21 or more
big
points.
name.
Right. Tonight's game, we've got the Colts at the Broncos. Who's everybody taking in this one?
Colts +3 and the under.
I have to take Russell Wilson and the Broncos because of fantasy reasons, but I think this is the week that they all put it together.
Yeah, over-under's 42. I'll take the over and give me Russell Wilson with the W.
I am definitely taking the under on that one, and I am going to take the Colts. I think that Mo Alley Cox is going to have a great game. I think Pittman's going to have a great game.
I think I'm going to take the under, with both starting running backs being out, and I think Denver at home, I think it would be the team. I hate these Thursday night games because it's never going to be what you think. Teams that usually play astronomical, just play down to the competition and vice versa, it seems like in a lot of these games. But I'll take Denver.
All right. Well, you've been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. No show tomorrow as we transition over to the new studio. Make sure you keep it tuned in for Mosley Dolphin football with our own very own David Hayes and Boston Tim.
Bigger and better than ever. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. We just sent Ron to see the Atlanta Braves at beautiful Truist Park.
Thank you so much.
Next, we're sending you to the SEC Championship game.
It's an awesome experience.
Saturday, December 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the ATL. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
My forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny skies in the mid-80s and light variable winds. Water temperature in the Gulf is 81. Air temperature tonight, 60 to 65, mostly clear. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny in the mid to upper 80s and more the same for Sunday.